The Pittsburgh Steelers just made the most unexpected quarterback move of the entire offseason. Aaron Rodgers is officially joining the black and gold, and he's not coming to sit on the sidelines. This isn't a rumor, it's real. A one-year deal, signed, sealed, and Rodgers is already on his way to Pittsburgh to suit up for minicamp. What started as offseason noise has turned into a franchise-altering reality. But here's the twist. This isn't just about bringing in a future Hall of Famer. This move might decide the entire future of the Steelers' offense, because what's happening behind closed doors is a lot deeper than just a contract. Rodgers didn't choose the Steelers by accident. He's already preparing to work with wideouts like DK Metcalf, Roman Wilson, and Calvin Austin III. He knows what this roster needs. After years of inconsistent quarterback play, Pittsburgh is betting it all on one man who's coming off an Achilles tear and a failed run with the Jets. But they believe he still has enough magic left to change their story. And with no clear QB plan for the future, Rodgers isn't just a signing, he's the lifeline. The weight of this team's identity now rests on a 41-year-old arm that still believes it can win. But before we talk about what Rodgers can do for Pittsburgh, we have to understand the chaos he's walking into. Last season wasn't just rocky, it was a full-blown quarterback carousel that left fans confused and the locker room shaken. So how did the Steelers end up here? And what really happened behind the scenes with Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, and Kenny Pickett? The answers might just explain why Pittsburgh felt like it had no choice but to call Rodgers in the first place. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Steelers and all the NFL content. Can we get 200 likes on this video? Nobody expected the Steelers to lose control of their quarterback situation this fast. It started with a plan to build around Russell Wilson, but within weeks, that plan unraveled. Kenny Pickett, the young hopeful, didn't even get the chance to compete. He requested a trade and landed in Philadelphia. The front office pivoted to Justin Fields, who wasn't even part of the original vision. But when Wilson went down with a calf injury during training, Fields was thrown into the spotlight. Not because he won the job, but because there was no one else left to take it. Fields brought flashes of excitement, but it wasn't enough. He struggled to stay consistent, and when Wilson returned, the team leaned on his experience. For a moment, it worked. The offense showed signs of life, but then the cracks reappeared, George Pickens got hurt, protection collapsed, and the offense faded fast. The locker room felt it. A season that began with hope spiraled into a 5-game losing streak that ended with a playoff disaster. This left the Steelers with more questions than answers. The coaching staff couldn't commit to any quarterback. The fans were frustrated. And behind it all was a deeper problem. There was no long-term vision. That's what made Rodgers such a desperate but calculated move. But what did Pittsburgh do to reset before making that call? And how did they rebuild the roster after that collapse? That's where the story takes a sharp turn. What nobody's talking about is how quickly the Steelers flipped the switch from damage control to aggressive retooling. After the season ended in disappointment, the front office didn't waste time licking wounds. They started reshaping the roster with urgency. The first big swing came with the acquisition of DK Metcalf, a physical wideout built to stretch defenses and give the offense a true vertical threat. That move sent a clear message. This team wasn't starting over. They were reloading with real firepower. But the wide receiver room wasn't the only area they addressed. Pittsburgh brought in Arthur Smith to rewire the offense with a new identity. He comes with a history of leaning on wide zone runs and play-action passing, a style that suits what the Steelers are trying to become. Add in rookie Roman Wilson, who brings speed and grit from Michigan, and the picture becomes clearer. The Steelers want explosiveness, and they're willing to roll the dice to get it. This wasn't just a roster shuffle. It was a calculated reboot aimed at giving Aaron Rodgers the pieces he needs. But flashy moves don't guarantee results. And the biggest question now becomes whether these changes can fix what's been broken for years, especially on an offense that hasn't found rhythm since the Big Ben era. So how will this new system actually look on the field, and can it unlock the version of Rodgers Pittsburgh is hoping for? That answer lies in how this reimagined offense is built to function. The Steelers haven't had a complete offense in years, but this new version might finally have the right ingredients. With Aaron Rodgers now at the helm, everything changes, from how fast the ball gets out to how defenses line up against them. Rodgers thrives on rhythm and timing, and the playbook is being adjusted to match his strengths. Arthur Smith's system is designed to build plays off the run game and attack mismatches, something Pittsburgh failed to do consistently in recent seasons. Now, with a new quarterback and new vision, they're trying to become unpredictable again. Rodgers will be working with a reshaped group of weapons. DK Metcalf offers power and size on the outside. Roman Wilson brings burst and route flexibility. Calvin Austin provides speed over the middle. Together, they create a much-needed variety that the Steelers have lacked. Tight end Pat Freiermuth is expected to take on a more prominent role, especially in red zone situations, and his chemistry with Rodgers could quietly become a key factor in this offense's success. But this won't work unless the entire unit clicks together. Timing routes, spacing, and protection all need to be sharp from the first snap. Rodgers isn't coming in to babysit a rebuild, he's here to elevate. If the receivers can match his pace, and Arthur Smith can keep defenses off balance, Pittsburgh's offense could look completely different. But before any of that happens, one thing must be fixed first: the group responsible for keeping Rodgers upright. Because without a stable offensive line, even the most talented quarterback can't survive. If there's one area that could make or break this new Steelers offense, it's the offensive line. Pittsburgh has quietly assembled a group of young, promising linemen who could become the foundation of this team, but only if they develop fast. Players like Troy Fautanu and Zach Frazier have the raw talent and college success, but the jump to the NFL is unforgiving. They'll be asked to protect a 41-year-old quarterback who needs time and space to operate. That's a heavy responsibility, and there's no room for growing pains once the season starts. The left side still raises questions. Broderick Jones, a former first-round pick, hasn't lived up to expectations yet. If he doesn't take a leap this year, the blind side remains a liability. Meanwhile, veterans like Isaac Seumalo are expected to provide guidance and experience, but this line isn't about the past, it's about how quickly the young core can gel. Chemistry, communication, and footwork will determine whether Rodgers has enough time to execute. The coaching staff brought in new leadership on the line, hoping to get better results than in previous seasons. That decision alone shows how serious the team is about fixing its protection issues. But there's pressure. This unit can't just be average, it has to give Rodgers the cushion to read, react, and fire. And while the line is the engine, the Steelers also know they'll need to control the clock and the tempo. Which brings us to another crucial part of the offense: how this revamped running back room is built to support everything around it. Pittsburgh's defense remains the heart of the team, led by TJ Watt, whose game-changing presence continues to anchor one of the NFL's most aggressive units. With added speed and depth from players like Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, Jack Sawyer, and Derek Harmon, the Steelers have built a front seven designed to dominate physical opponents like the Ravens. However, concerns still linger in the secondary, where Joey Porter Jr. battles penalty issues and veteran Darius Slay is no longer built to shadow elite receivers full-time. The success of this defense, and the team as a whole, will hinge on whether the back end can hold up against the AFC's top passing attacks. Aaron Rodgers didn't come to Pittsburgh for comfort, he came for redemption. After a turbulent exit from Green Bay and a failed run with the Jets, his legacy is on the line. The Steelers aren't getting peak Rodgers, but they believe his experience and football IQ are enough to lead them through tight battles and into playoff contention. Unlike the chaos in New York, Pittsburgh offers him structure, discipline, and a young core eager to improve. This isn't about stats, it's about rewriting the ending. But with a stacked AFC, Rodgers must do more than manage games. He has to lead, inspire, and prove he's still capable of greatness in what may be his final chapter. So now the real question is yours. Can Aaron Rodgers still be the difference maker this team desperately needs? Will the Steelers finally turn the page and rise again, or are they buying time with a legend on his last legs? Let us know what you think in the comments. Is this Pittsburgh's breakthrough, or their last swing at staying relevant in the AFC?